Good old pot, weed, Mary Jane, marijuana, all of it. Today I want to talk about what JoJo characters probably smoke it. You know, this is a random video. This is a filler video. I do not have any other ideas better than this, so you're going to enjoy this video. One person I see get brought up a lot when we're talking about people who probably smoke is Jodio, but I have a counter to that if we're talking about any of the Joe stars, and it's definitely Jolene. You have to think about it, right? Jolene grew up she was born in what, 92? 93? She grew up in the 90s, 2000s, and the early 2010s in Florida. Florida native. And she was a rebellious teen. She was definitely smoking pot back in 09. This is the same girl who got lifted at 16 for Grand Theft Auto. Wasn't it Grand Theft Auto? Didn't she steal a car? I'm pretty sure that's what she did. She was definitely smoking weed. And speaking of Joe stars smoking weed, I said this on Twitter, but I definitely think Jotaro smoked a bit of weed after part 3. You know, part 3 was really what turned him around and say, yeah, I gotta start smoking. Because think about it, right? You just got into a situation with a homicidal vampire. You lost most of your friends. You thought your grandpa just died. Your mom almost just died. You know, you just went through some traumatic shit. And then you gotta come back, go to school, then you're good. No, I'm smoking some weed. Only Joe stars I believe really never smoked was probably like Giorno. I think Jodio probably tried it once and said, nah, that's not for me, and he just became a dealer. I think Joseph is definitely a smoker. He was a chronic smoker at one point. Y'all gotta realize this. He lived in America most of his life, and he lived through the hippie movement. Are you kidding me? You don't think Joseph Joestar was blazing up? Come on. He lived through the 60s and 70s in America. But when we're not talking about the main Joestars, right? Like, let's go over to part 5. People in part 5 I think smoked. I think most of the Assassin Squad smoked except Risotto. He's probably the only one. Him and Pesci are probably the only ones who did not smoke shit. Risotto, he got his high off pure vengeance and cold blood murder. That's how he got his high. But like someone like Chocolata, he definitely smokes, but it's like some shit you don't want to smoke with him. He probably smokes laced shit, like evil poison shit that he would offer you, but you're taking a gamble with your life even smoking that. The only people who could smoke with him is Seko. You know, in part 4, someone who I think is like not a chronic smoker, but they smoke a fair bit, Rohan. You know, I think Rohan's eccentric enough to where he's definitely tried variations of drugs, and for the ones that he liked, he just like, you know, did it whenever he wanted. I mean, it's 1999, he's 20, he's a millionaire, he can do what he wants, literally. But my thing with Rohan is like, I feel like during any time we saw him on screen except Thus Spoke Rohan Kashibe, he did not smoke. Part 4 Rohan was not smoking. Thus Spoke Rohan Kashibe though, that Rohan, I feel like he was smoking a fair bit. You know, because in Thus Spoke Rohan Kashibe, it be skipping around. I'm pretty sure there's episodes in 06, there's episodes early 2000s. There's in the manga, there's literally a chapter that's set in the 2020s where Rohan's like 40 something. It skips around. Part 4 Kira does not smoke, but part 8 Kira definitely does. Don't ask me why I think that. Really, you just gotta think about part 8 Kira. He was so snarky and like so condescending that there had to be times where he's just chilling. He's like, damn, I really wish I had a blunt right now. If we're talking about people who I personally think wouldn't, you know, Kakyoin, I don't think he's smoking. I don't think he's smoking like that. Same with Abdul. And you may ask me why Abdul. I feel like Abdul's been on purpose his entire life. We don't know his backstory, but I feel like he's been on a purpose his entire life. He never had time for that. You know, But if we're looking at like part 6 characters, I'm sure Hermes was blazing a lot before she got locked up. Think about it. Like, legitimately think about it. She was already stressed. Her father's business, I'm pretty sure something happened with the father's business, and then her sister ends up dying, getting killed. What? And I'm in Florida. Y'all gotta remember, these are millennials. They were definitely smoking. Speaking of the later parts, I think Ray, he's definitely smoking. The plant appraiser, he's definitely smoking. Think about it. He's alone up in the mountains most of his life, most of the time. He don't got nothing to do. Why wouldn't he? After he's finished with his plan for the day, roll one up. If weed was around back then, which I'm not even sure if it was, but in steel ball run times, Johnny definitely smoked. Same with Gyro. Johnny and Gyro, they're the only duo I'm completely confident with that have smoked. Both of them. I know they done got high as shit. Johnny especially. Think about it. Johnny literally, he was a famous horse racing jockey. He was a rich douchebag asshole. Definitely smoking weed. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. You know, this is a filler idea. If you have any ideas, leave it down below. And until next time, peace. You know, I sat here and thought to myself, what is a good JoJo video I can make today? And why not talk about JoJo panels out of context? Again, this is the 4th time I'm doing it on this channel because there are so many JoJo panels out of context. It's like easy pickings at this point. To start us off, like, we have a part 7 panel, which is perfect for part 7 because it basically encapsulates most of the relationship between Johnny and Gyro, because as Gyro saying, Johnny, my body's bursting. Now, of course, they're being attacked by enemy stand, but again, some of the verbiage is low-key a little bit too funny for me to even leave out. I have to include it. Like, I would be doing a disservice if I didn't include it in this video. And y'all would hate that. Y'all would hate for this video to be worse than it could have been. Up next, we have the iconic panel where Narancia unfortunately saw something he thought was crazy, which was Giorno giving Mista top, but it wasn't. It was just Giorno healing Mista. Now, the one sad thing, or not even sad, kind of funny thing about this whole thing is that Narancia died thinking that yeah, they were fucking. He died thinking that he found out 2 of his good friends were fucking on the side. And you know what? He never said anything to anybody, so you also have to give him that. You know, you have to give him that. But I just think it's so ironic, you know what I mean? Because even what Mista was saying, it just made it worse. He was like, be gentle. Gentle. Oh, this is hurting so much. You could just hear this man, Mista, yelling and moaning. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Up next, you just have the average part 8 dialogue where Joshu's being a weirdo and his family looks concerned about him because his father asked him what he's doing, and Joshu replies, I love fish sausages, as he pulls out packs and packs of fish sausages. Now, I really don't know what to say to this. I think the randomness and bizarre look on Norisuke's face as he's like, oh, this kid's just not normal. And Joshu vigorously using a scale to scale out each individual fish sausage before he puts it in another pile on the other side. You're just like, oh, he may have something going on. And there's also the fact where, like, he never really officially answers the question. He's just like, yeah, I love fish sausages. What are you talking about? I don't completely remember if this panel is real or not, but it's bizarre enough for me to believe it's real and it has a real reason behind it. But it's Johnny on the ground bleeding, where he's saying to his horse, lick again, lick my face one more time. Lick my face, my horse. Bro, I'm sorry, whenever I do out of context panels, I have to remember part 7 and part 8 probably has the funniest dialogue when it comes to things. Every other part before that, they're just doing random shit and acting like it's normal. You know, like, Part 4, they'll do some crazy random shit and they'll act like it's just a normal thing to say or do. Part 7 and part 8, they know it's not normal. They don't care. The dialogue is just so funny. That's normal in their world. You have this Joseph panel from Battle Tendencies. Like I was saying before, you know how I was literally just saying, you know, the parts before that, they just did shit and acted like it was normal. This is a clear case of that, because why does Joseph have a big ass hammer, and why is he saying, so what about a hit from my big thick hammer? What are you talking about, nigga? And like, nothing that happens in that scene, I'm pretty sure, indicates that that's like weird or anything. Everyone pretends like it's normal. They're pretending in that universe, because why do you have that object? It was the same way, I felt the same exact way when he randomly pulled a fucking Tommy gun from wherever he was hiding that bitch. Why do you have it? How do you have it? Next, we have a panel that again looks normal, and if you are watching the show and you're in the context of the show, it's pretty normal. But if you aren't and you just see it, you're like, okay, can someone explain this? Because you have Narancia laid out on the ground bleeding, and Bruno, he's just like, yeah, they're gravely injured, bro. We gotta put him in the turtle. The what? Why are we putting them in the turtle? That's literally would be your first thought. Cause shit, when I saw this for the first time again, that was my first thought. But now I remembered Coco Jumbo. That's the turtle. Now to end it off, we have a Diablo Doppio special that again, I cannot remember if it is official or not. But it has Diablo saying through a phone, is there something wrong with being a girl? Say it, Doppio. And Doppio repeating it to Bruno. And Bruno was bleeding, and y'all remember he couldn't see, he was blind, he was deaf, and all he could see was like the context of souls and stuff. That, yeah. Him saying, is there something wrong with being a girl? This one is just blatantly funny, honestly. Cause you don't, in the panel, you can barely see if Doppio is a boy or a girl. You just hear this, you just see this phone telling them, hey, repeat this and don't let go of the bloody man. I don't know, but if you did enjoy this video and you want more videos like this, please let me know. And until next time, peace. We're almost at 4K. Thank y'all. You read the title and know that this fandom asked for this, so I am delivering on a promise. Today we're talking about what JoJo characters be gooning, cause yeah, that's what was asked of me. I know this will probably be clipped. I'm almost expecting it at this point, but I'm sorry, I have to talk about these goon monsters, these gooners and goonettes, these insane individuals. Starting up first, Jolene Cujo. Now, she is one of the only ones we know that is confirmed. Honestly, you can honestly probably put most of the Joestars, like main JoJos, under there. You know, most of them, they go through hard lives. That's probably the only release they got. I'm gonna try to keep the jokes to a little minimum. But Jolene, she has like 4 or 5 gooning lines within part 6. One is when we first see her in the first night she gooned to the moon. 2 is when she says she was envious of snails because they could reproduce with any organism. And there's a third one, I just cannot remember it for the life of me. Speaking of Joestars, Joseph, oh my god, Joseph is probably he's one of the old timer gooners. He probably got out the mud the hard way. This man was reading magazines, peeping Tom and shit. I mean, we know he was a peeping Tom. He did that shit to his own mom inadvertently. That's crazy. That's crazy. And on top of that, Joseph, he met a woman at 19, got married to her. They ended up being soulmates, but like, he was like, at 60 something, nah, I need this 20 something year old college girl. Then he went with her, had an affair, and had a baby. Joseph, he's definitely probably one of the worst offenders of the gooning list, because he's probably been doing it for so long. This is probably 70-ish years in the making. Someone else, Kira. Yoshikage Kira. Oh yeah, I'm telling you, we haven't even like really tapped into everything Kira's done. Kira is like the master freak of all freaks. He was definitely doing a lot of things that were crazy. Like, just genuinely, honestly. We know he was using his hands. And not the ones attached to his body. Oh no. His trophy hands. Just a sick, shuddering thought to think about. You're thinking about it right now, aren't you? It's sick, isn't it? It's really, really fucking sick. Someone else, I think, was definitely, choking the chicken, doing whatever. It's definitely Gyro. It's definitely Gyro. Gyro, Diego, Dio, fucking Johnny. I feel like all four of them going crazy. Johnny especially. Right? Cause like, thinking about it, right? That man got so much money so quick. What is he going to do? Now, there's a difference. I think Johnny was fucking at a young age, but I feel like he was also gooning at a young age. Anasui is probably the biggest. He's probably just gooning only for one person. We know who the person is. The way he talked about Jolene, you would thought they were locked in like this. Meanwhile, Jolene, she trying to be locked in like this half the part. Until the end, so she could have some type of hope and some fantasy. Now, the top one gooner in the entire series, and this is what I'm going to end the video off with. Joshua Higashikata. You gotta think about it. He's a shut-in. He doesn't have a job. His family hates him. He has all the makings of an incel who gets no girls and can only goon on his one lonely computer in his room and make sure he locked the doors so no one walks in on him. That is Joshua. He is the top one gooner in the entire series. If I had to do percentages, he's like top 0.001%. No cap. There's no denying it too. If it's not even canon, because I can't remember if it is or if it isn't, because there's a lot of things in JoJo that's surprisingly canon. There's a lot of things that's surprisingly not. But if it's not canon, Hirohiko Araki, bring the Higashikata family back for one chapter in JoJo Lands just to show how bad this nigga be gooning. Okay, I'm done. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. We're currently at 4K. Thank y'all. Q&A coming soon. And until next time, peace. You see that title? Today we are on some more outlandish shit. Yes, we're going outlandish again today. Hopefully this video does not get quote tweeted and clipped on Twitter and JoJo TikTok, because that's what happened last time. I think. Well, no, it only got quote tweeted on Twitter. Another one of my videos got clipped and quote tweeted on TikTok. But today I'm going to give you my dream JoJo blunt rotation, because why not? We are on a brutal wait until the Steel Ball Run trailer. I do have other ideas other than this, but I want to make this because it's fun. I don't want to do no research right now, unfortunately. But hey, I got a Joshua research video coming soon. I know you want it. I know you're going to enjoy it. Come on. You know you're going to enjoy it. Now, in this chart that I found online, there are only 7 seats besides me. So I will start off with the first person within my dream blunt rotation in JoJo's Bizarre Adventures is Usagi. Now, this may not come as a surprise to some of y'all, and some of y'all it may, but I do enjoy his character in part 9. Plus, he's an avid smoker. Well, he's an avid drug user, let's just say that. So I feel like he would be chill, real chill, so while we're smoking. He'll be chill while we're smoking. Hopefully he's not one of those who talk your head off the entire time while you're smoking and get mad over the smallest things, cause that would suck. Up next, give me Jonathan Joestar. Now, you may ask me, why Jonathan Joestar? Plus, do you even think he smokes? I think Jonathan, if he had the access to weed back then, he would have smoked. Because in the manga, he be smoking out of pipes and shit. He be hitting pipes. That's just straight tobacco. You don't think he would hit some gas? See the effects, try it out, see if he enjoys it. I feel like he would be a really chill person to have just around the group, you know. He's going to be the one that's just bringing pure good vibes and positivity most of the time. But he's also probably going to be like the awkward and clumsy nigga, because there's always one. Up next, give me part 4 Josuke. Again, he's another positive to the group, you know. So far we have real positivity in this group ish. It's real positivity. And plus Josuke, he's already a funny character. Imagine how much funnier he would be off the weed. Yes, I'm talking about part 4 Josuke. Part 8 Josuke might make the cut. I'm not sure yet. I gotta really think about that. And if I'm putting Josuke in, I have to put Okuyasu in. So right now, what is that? 4? This is 4. Okuyasu's the 4th. Okuyasu plus Josuke is already an unbelievably funny duo. Now just imagine them high. If you're one of the people that smoke, you know what the effects of weed is. You know, I won't say if I do or don't partake in it. But them high would be incredibly funny. Plus, I just feel like Josuke and Okuyasu, they'll be the ones who are over willing to share. You know what I mean? Over willing. They come to the section probably with a bunch of snacks that are probably mostly eaten by them, but it's the thought that counts. At least, you know, they'll put in as much as they can when they aren't broke. You know, they'll bring the good vibes, and that is what the session is about. Good vibes only. Now for these next 2 slots, and you heard me, 2, right? I have to put Jolene and Hermes. Now, for 1, I feel like both of them have experience dabbling in the devil's lettuce, and for 2, Hermes has the kiss ability. So once it's rolled, right, all she has to do is just put a little sticker. Boom. Now we got 2. Boom. Now we got 4. Boom. Now we got 8. 8 blunts in the rotation. Jolene's a character, you know, she's pretty cool, you know. When she's chilling in JoJo's, she's another underrated funny JoJo. That's what, like, but I'm thinking for that 7th pick, I might have to do an honorable mention pick too. But for that 7th pick, it's going to be really tricky. Now for honorable mentions, this is tough. This is really tough. See, I can't really throw anyone in the Passion group in like that. You know what I mean? Giorno ain't fuck with drugs. Bruno ain't really do drugs himself. Narancia was young. He was real. I mean, he wasn't that young. As a matter of fact, yeah. Narancia's an honorable mention. Narancia's definitely an honorable mention. He would definitely be someone who's just saying stupid shit the whole time, but it's all gonna be funny because we're all gonna be really high. Another honorable mention, Ray. Yeah, I feel like he would be. I just feel like he would be a good smoking partner. At least he's like one of those people who you guys smoke with one-on-one. You know what I mean? Up in the mountains. You know, like, cause he's there. No one can really infringe on his property. It's not like no police are gonna come up there. What's gonna happen? Another honorable mention. This is the last honorable mention too. Hall Horse. He was mad funny in part 3, but like he's only an honorable mention again because he's funny. He seems like the type to, you know, he's gonna bring his own shit, but it really comes down to the problem where when we have to start sharing and shit, sharing. Is he going to share? That's why I couldn't put him on my list, because like, are you going to share? Are you going to pass around? Or are you going to be one of those guys who like takes a few puffs, you break in rotation, and then you're leaving with the J? Come here, put it back. Also, I'm adding Johnny and Gyro because it's Johnny and Gyro. I have to. Both of them will probably be fantastic to smoke with. Even though it's going to be weird having two Jonathans there. It's okay. But the last seat, the very, very, very last seat goes to Joseph Joestar, particularly young Joseph Joestar. Bro, not only do I know you want to supply, because if you can supply a Tommy gun from out of nowhere, you can supply a little bit of fucking gas. You know you can. Like, don't hold out on me, bitch. I'm just saying. And plus, he's funny. Miraculous things be happening. He has insane luck. I think we can take our chances with him being at the function. You know, only thing he has to worry about is just not being a dickhead, which is kind of hard for young Joseph. That man was always a dickhead. Even though there were a few times he wasn't. I'm not going to do him like that. There was a few times he wasn't, but for the most part he was. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, we're on the road to 5K, so anything helps. And until next time, peace. Yesterday I made a dream blunt rotation video with JoJo characters, and today I was thinking, why not do the opposite and make a nightmare blunt rotation with some of the JoJo characters? Because as I was going through characters I would want to have in my blunt rotation, I kept thinking about characters I would not want to have in my blunt rotation and who would probably make me very, very, very annoyed. Now we're going to be using the same template from yesterday, just different characters I would actually very much hate to smoke with. And up first, if we're talking about characters I would not want to smoke with, you have Jodio and Giorno. I don't want to smoke with either of them. I'm not smoking with Giorno, obviously, because if I invite him to a function, he's probably going to say no, call the police, then I'm going to get raided. And if he doesn't call the police, God forbid he doesn't call the police, it's going to be even worse for me. He finna turn the J into a fucking butterfly. Come on, man. Giorno's just obviously, I don't want him smoking with me. But some people may ask me, why Jodio? If you've ever known something, a supplier usually doesn't smoke their own supply. For one, I think Jodio has done it. I just don't think he likes smoking and getting high. I think he just likes money. So I'm going to invite him to the session. He's going to be trying to scam me out of something. He's going to run some type of scam in some way, and he's going to somehow end up with my wallet, and I'm going to be very mad. He'd probably be the one who would be like fake hitting it just so he could pass it. So he looks like he's high, but everyone else is actually high. He's just gonna and steal my wallet. He's gonna steal everybody's wallet. Like, Jodio, he's all about the money. Drugs do not excite him for real. That's one thing that people don't get. Like, him and Jordan are a lot similar on that front than people think. Jodio just sells them to get more quick money. Which, funny Valentine. Now you may ask me, this may be a weird pick to some of y'all again. He's going to be yapping about his ideologies and all that shit, and no one's going to want to hear that. You know what I mean? We're here to smoke something. I'm not trying to hear your plans for American imperialism and how you're going to make everyone follow under a regime and how you're going to redirect the misfortune of America onto different countries, including making third world countries worse. We don't want to hear that. We're just trying to hit the gas. That's all we're trying to do. And on top of that, Funny Valentine is just like, he's a naturally selfish character. So he's going to be saying all these things. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to make America better. All this, right? All the while, he's just chiefing the whole thing. He's smoking the whole thing. He's not passing. He just keeps hitting it. Just keeps while he's talking. No. Hell no. Chocolata. He's going to lace me. Like, I really don't have to say more. He's going to lace me. If I let him in the session, I'm getting laced. And that will just be it. As a matter of fact, we're all getting laced. Yes, we are all, okay. We are all getting laced. And for Chocolata being there, Seko's also there. That's his junior. That's his henchman. He can be there too. You know what I mean? And the worst part is, both of them are not loyal to shit. They're loyal to nothing. Nothing, not even each other. Chocolate is using Seko, and he essentially groomed Seko into being his underling by he did experiments on Seko. That's how he became its underling. Yeah, no. The dubious twins who are going to have us all leaning like we just took some Fent. No. What are we at? We're at 5. We got 2 more spots left. Ooh, this is tough. This is where it gets really tricky, because there's a lot of characters in JoJo's where, like, I would just never ever want to be in the same room as them. You know what I mean? Give me at 6, give me Rohan. I don't want to smoke a Rohan. He's actually in my nightmare blunt rotation. Yes, and that may seem a little drastic. But knowing Rohan and how invasive he is, after everyone's high and chilling and all that, he's going to pull out Heaven's Door and he's going to start reading information about each and every last one of us. Mind you, we're going to be knocked out. Once Heaven's Door attacks us, or he's going to do some slick shit. Like he finished just randomly show us a page from his new manga. Why are you doing that? Now Heaven Door's out and I'm knocked out. And yo ass, you got my face fucking open like I'm a damn book. I'm not a book. I'm not a book. Now, to end it off, and honestly, if I'm thinking about honorable mentions, like bad honorable mentions, man, honestly, it's harder to think about it, because a lot of characters I just think they would be chill. Like, they just wouldn't do much, you know, like most of the people from the part 6 cast would be chill. As a matter of fact, honorable mention, Weather Report with his memories. That nigga's just gonna kill everybody there and himself. If he can find a way to sound it, he's going to. Okay. But 7th. You know what? Nightmare blunt rotation. For the 7th and final spot. Give me fucking Vanilla Ice. Yeah. Give me Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice is the one. He's the one that would make the whole rotation awful. And it's not because of any extracurricular activities except his undying glaze to his fucking employer. Oh my god. I think I remember reading his backstory or something. He was a murderer. Then he found Dio. Dio turned him into a vampire. Or he became Dio's servant. Then he turned into a vampire. And he was just eternally grateful to Dio. Fuck out of here. No one wants to hear that shit all the time while we're hitting the fucking J. Shut that shit the fuck up. Shut it up. We ain't trying to hear that. You know, I could ask you why you have a heart-shaped dent in your forehead, in knowing that on Dio's belt there's a heart-shaped pendant, but I'm not gonna go there because you're probably just gonna erase everything there, including me. I ain't trying to get done like Abdul. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, we're on the road to 5K, so anything helps. And until next time, peace. we've done JoJo's in the classroom, and a lot of y'all wanted JoJo villains in the classroom, which we also did. But now y'all have started asking for JoBro videos, and who am I to not oblige with the JoBro videos? Now for this video, I will be using a JoBro from each part. I may use multiple, I may not. It really depends on how I'm feeling once I get to whatever part it is. But we are going to talk about how they would interact with a classroom and what they would do, what type of student they are, and basically what their rep would be. And if you do enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But let's get straight into it, starting with part 1 with Speedwagon. I would include Will in here, but you know what, fuck it, I'll talk about Will too. But Speedwagon in specific, he's not going to school. He's just a modern gangster, honestly. When you look at Speedwagon in the beginning of part 1, he was on the street. Mind you, Speedwagon's same age as Jonathan. Around the same age, I'm pretty sure. Didn't go to school. Was not in school. Was not in college. He was not doing none of that shit. He was on the street hustling rich niggas like Jonathan. Stealing their money. Taking their jewels. Holding them for ransom. Making sure him and his family has something to eat at night. And I think it's more of the same. However, I do think he pulls up sometimes, and I do think the only reason he hasn't officially been kicked out of the school is because whenever there's a test, he does really well on the test. Speedwagon strikes me as someone who, even though he's on the street, he's very, very smart. Very, very smart. We saw his street smarts in action when he first went to Jonathan's house, met Dio, and was like, hey, your brother is a fucking weirdo. You should low-key kill this nigga. That's still so crazy. Speedwagon really said that to Dio first time he met him. But Speedwagon definitely strikes me as one who, yes, he's not in class. Yes, he's skipping class. Yes, he does not care about the class. But at least quizzes and tests he does well on. So he has like a high D. Maybe late C. But you just know all the homework, classwork, all that, he's not getting done. And you're not seeing him most of the week, so get used to it. As far as Will Zeppeli, though, I see him being as more of a decent student. But again, another one you're really not seeing most of the week. But not for street activities, just for the fact that he has better things to be doing than going to school. Like, I feel like you would see him, obviously, more than Speedwagon. But, like, you would see him so that he can meet up with his friends, discuss plans for what's after school, and leave. Really. But honestly, Will, I have a little bit more faith in Will. You know who I really see that for? Caesar. That's why we need to talk about Caesar right now. Part 2, Caesar. Caesar is not, he's another one who's just not going to school. For almost all the reasons I listed with Speedwagon, but also with the reasons I listed with Will Zeppeli. He's going there so that he can talk to girls. He can chill in the classroom, not do anything, talk to his friends, hang out. You know what I mean? But then midday, lunch, you're not seeing him for the rest of the day probably. I still remember that sometimes too. Like when I was in high school, it was people, they would barely be here. They would pull up late at like 9. Lunch at 11:30. Come lunch, I don't see him for the rest of the day. School don't end for another 3 hours. And the thing with Caesar is I also just don't see him turning in his work at all. I don't see him doing good on quizzes or tests. I just don't see him caring in general. Like he's just going to find some side hustle outside of school, hang out with his friends outside of school. Basically the people that you already, if you've been in like high school, the people you already see that just do not take school serious in the slightest. Like it'll be a school day at 10:30 and you'll see him at the fucking movie theater or some stupid shit like that. Honestly, adding something a little bit in, I think Caesar would even be borderline class clownish when he's in class, but I can't give him the class clown title because I don't see him being in class often enough for him to even be called that. He's probably just called the kid with like 100 absences, 100 tardies. Like even if, and that's my whole thing, even if he does show up, he's probably going to be tardy. It's finna be late as shit. Up next, we have Kakyoin and Polnareff. Now, for Kakyoin, we know, I really honestly don't even need to go long into Kakyoin's like time in school. He's literally just the quiet kid that you don't dislike, but again, you're like, oh, well, he's there. He's like the quiet kid who looks mean. Quiet kid who looks mean and sad and depressed. The one you see sitting at lunch all alone, or you don't even see him at lunch because he's somewhere else on campus that no one else is. That's how lonely and sad and depressed Kakyoin was. And that was his school life. Like that was just who he was in school. Now for Polnareff. Now, Polnareff in school is definitely a class clown. He's a class clown, but he's also like, see, the thing with Polnareff, he's not the Joe bro that gives me super senior vibes. There is one that I will talk about later. And if you know, you should know just based off me saying super senior vibes. You should know who that Joe bro is. He's not the one who gives me those vibes, but he is the one who gives me vibes that like he would be like damn near a school hoe. Like the entire school would know he's going. He's fucking everything moving. He's probably one of those ones where like you know more about his reputation outside of school than in school. I feel like most of the Joe bros so far, that's their reputation. You know more about them outside of school than in school. Also, I see him being like a D minus student, few C's, 1B, uno, 1B, and a singular A for most of the years in high school that came from gym class. Came from gym. Like Polnareff, he's definitely not at school to learn. He's there to socialization. He's not there to make, well, he is there to make friends, but he's not there to make friends with the teachers. Polnareff is probably low-key like, I could see him being a sports jock, but like not one of the traditional sports. Even I could see him being any sports jock, but one of the first ones I was thinking was something like, nah, that's a stupid sport. I was about to say a really stupid sport. Yeah, I could see him being like a football player or something. Yeah, I could see him being an athlete. So he's going to be at class, but he's a class clown basically. Like almost basically a class clown, but not completely because he's still trying to talk to mad girls. Part 4. Again, another part we low-key see them in action, but not too much. Not enough, honestly. Part 4 needed more like in school, in classroom scenes. Since we already see them niggas in school on the regular. Whatever. But, right, part 4. 1, Okuyasu and Koichi. Okuyasu, like I talked about with Josuke, if him and Josuke are in the same classroom, they are both class clowns / they're making the teacher's life hell. They're making the teachers separate them. They're finna be passing notes across the classroom once they get separated. Them niggas is laughing at everything. They don't get, I mean, they try to do their work. I'm not gonna say they don't get their work done. They try to do it, but they may not necessarily understand it all the time. But with Okuyasu, I think Josuke like tutors this nigga, low key. I think he tutors this nigga. Cause again, with Josuke, I believe he gets good grades mainly just because his mom don't play that, and she would be on his ass, ready to drop kick him in the stomach if he didn't get good grades. With Okuyasu, he's a little, just a tad bit slow. So I think he definitely goes to Josuke for help, and they try to study, but they don't really study well. So I don't see them getting that good of a grade. But I can see Okuyasu sneaking in a good amount of like C's, maybe a few B's, shit, maybe 3 A's, not for a semester, just on a random quiz. And then with Koichi's just a good kid. Yeah, I don't really have much for Koichi except he's just, good kid, really solid, always doing his work, getting shit done, He's probably another one you never see him talk to women, but that's not necessarily his fault because he is a friendly person, but he has a crazy girlfriend who would just, you know, almost kill the woman if he talked to her. Because I don't know if y'all do remember that one episode where we see them doing after school activities, and Koichi, he walks away or does something, and Yokaku sets the girl's hair on fire while choking her with hair. What the fuck? Part 5. Who in school? We could do Narancia in school, where we know if we're doing Narancia in school, we also have to account the 5 years he's taken off since, because again, he stopped going to school at like 10. Then he randomly picked back up after Bruno paid for him in the hospital and told him to go to school. But then he joined the mafia. So yeah, he's one. I don't even think he's like a class clown or anything. He's probably one of the ones where like they're sitting in the back, he got his headphones on, but he's definitely a tweaker. Everyone at school knows he's a tweaker. And if you don't know what I mean like, you mess with him, I dare you to mess with him, cause he might kill you. Narancia got some anger issues deep seated, and they come out in the craziest ways. The thing with Narancia throughout part 5 literally was he was getting mad over the smallest shit. It's like 4 instances I can remember off of the top of my head of him doing crazy shit off of small things. For example, first time we see him get into a stand bite, I forget who was against. Bro, as soon as he figured out who the enemy was, this nigga started shooting up the car like there was no tomorrow. There was so many that car had to have 500 bullets in it. Or when he stabbed Fugo with a fucking fork. Well, no, Fugo stabbed him, then he picked up a knife and he was about to stab him. Or when that guy bumped into him and he had a stain on his white suit and he was like, oh, you gotta pay for that, and he picked Narancia up, and Narancia picked his glass up, right here. I think he's getting in school fights. Not even think, he's definitely getting in school fights. He might actually end up getting expelled like by the end of the year. Because the thing with Narancia, if you even try him, he's just going straight to violence. It's no, what's up? It's no, oh, I don't want to fight. No, it's just straight violence, straight hands, anger. But besides that, he's chilling. Music on, blasting, chilling. But try him, hands. Then you also have the other half, Fugo. Another one, straight hands and feet. But the thing with Fugo is he's a good student. He's getting the shit done. You know, he's top of the class. Valedictorian probably. He's probably valedictorian level. But his anger issues are so bad that he probably keeps his great kid status solely by fighting people off campus. Literally, after school, he's probably chasing people, walking them down to their house while they're walking to their house, and he just starts throwing them bitches, starts hitting them. Fugo, like, those two, understandably, it makes sense, they're gangsters, but damn, they have some crazy anger issues that are just on display throughout part 5. But with Fugo, you would probably just think, oh yeah, everything's fine. You know, you probably think he has all these different extracurriculars and hobbies and all that, and he definitely does. But he leads a secret double life, one where he's just letting out pent up aggression. I'm not doing Bruno for this one because even though I count him as a Joe bro, I feel like I've talked about Bruno so much, I don't need to add him into this one. This is the one exclusive one where I'm talking about part 5 side characters. I don't mention Bruno. And plus the video will be way too long, but you ain't hear that from me. Even though you did. Part 6. Okay. Man, this is a cast of characters to choose from. All of them you would probably not want to be friends with. Let me not say that, but most of the side characters you just wouldn't want to be friends with, genuinely. Hermes, well, if you aren't friends with Hermes, you have a higher chance of getting your shit stolen. I'll say that. Hermes, she's poor. So since she's poor, and it was shown time and time again throughout the series, since she's poor, she will steal money and she will hide it. She definitely can. And it's on top of the fact that Hermes, she has a vendetta, V for vendetta, and she had a whole purpose on going to prison, which was hunting down her sister's killer. So there's also the fact that she's not mentally stable. I can promise you she's not mentally stable. Honestly, he's not going to look at you as a friend. He's going to look at you as more of a pawn that he can use whenever. And if you were to cross him, which God forbid, you're probably going to end up in a body bag on some highway in Central Florida, or you're ending up in the Keys. You know, he's just tossing. He might just dissolve you in some acid if he can find it. I mean, shit. Because I'm not going to lie, him dismembering his girlfriend and her affair partner and, you know, all that, I don't think that was the first time he did it. It definitely wasn't. He's always loved to take things apart and put things together. And that's another thing too. Imagine you're at school and you see this nigga taking apart a phone. You know, I think honestly he's more of a weird kid. Very, very weird kid. Very, very, very weird kid. You know, he's one of the kids where you're kind of worried because you're like, what is his fascination with removing things? Until you fuck up and cross him. Then you find out. Weather report after the accident. I just pray for you. Not for you in specific. I just pray for whoever comes across him and says anything. Just says anything that he could take as offensive or angry, or he even has a chance to let his anger out on you. Because he will. Oh, he will. He's going to let his anger out on you right before he tries to kill himself again. Part 7. Alright, now for these last 3 parts, we're doing one side character, okay? Okay. Part 7. Obvious side character. Gyro Zeppeli in school. I see him. Well, if we're doing modern and he's keeping like his prestigious lineage, I'm still seeing him, you know, as a good kid in school. It's not really doing much. I do see him as someone who sneaks around and does everything in the dark just because of the fact that if he gets caught, his parents strict, it's over. He's a kid with strict ass parents, but that don't stop him. That shit stopped nothing. He's still going out every night, going to that party, still out past curfew. He actually has more freedom than you, and you probably don't even have strict parents. His parents are probably stricter than yours, and he has more freedom than you, simply because he's sneaking around and to do all the shit he wants to do. He's not letting time go to waste. That's one thing Gyro isn't doing. Part 8. Now it's time for the super senior. Super duper uber senior. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to end it off on part 8 too. The uber duper super ultra senior. It's probably 19 years old. Joshua Higashikata. Listen, bro. Listen. Joshua Higashikata is the definition of a shut-in, no good, no job. Wait, does he have a job? I'm pretty sure. Didn't he say he had a job, but it was like a weak ass job or something? Because I still remember the panel of his father looking at him like, when he said something about a job. Either way, he either got a weak ass job or no job. Bum. His family is rich, and they barely even trust him enough to give that man $50 bucks. So not only will he in school probably be a rich douchebag, got all the new tech gadgets, all that shit, right? Not only is he a weirdo and a creep, because you'll just see him looking at girls in the hallway, creeping on them. He'll be the nigga you have to reject 7 times for him to walk away, and while he's walking away, okay, fuck you. You was ugly anyway. Not only is all that, it's probably an uber senior, the super duper uber senior. He has no direction in life, no moral compass. He just does the things he wants to, and then like his family, they don't care anymore because they feel like he's low-key a lost cause. So, they just let him go to school, get his graduation. But after graduation, everyone knows that he's probably going to get kicked out. So everyone's just mentally preparing for the day where he's on the street and he's asking you for $1. Because still, I'm not going to lie, still to this day, it blows my mind that this man asked his father for $50. Mind you, this is the same family that did not notice $4 million going missing when Jobin's wife went and got her nose redid. Well, no, went and got the the Hokagekhi fruit. Did not notice, and it was probably more than $4 million if I remember correctly, but didn't notice. But $50, they can't give him $50. They did give him $50, but it was so reluctant. I was like, bro, oh my god. But that's really all I got for y'all. If y'all enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to 5K, so anything helps. And until next time, peace. Almost everyone who watches this channel is still in the classroom, and if you aren't, congratulations, you're now free from school. I am not. You can see that by just looking around at the surroundings around you. I'm in college. But today, I want to talk about what JoJoStars are like in the classroom, because a lot of JoJoStars are very smart, very funny, but they also fit a lot of different archetypes of people in the classroom that you would meet. Now, which classroom, whether it be middle school, high school, or even college to an extent, is what is up for debate. Now, first you have Jonathan. Now, Jonathan's archetype is probably the most predictable, which is just a very, very, very good student. Now, he gets all of his work in on time, almost straight A's, doesn't really talk back. Hell, it might even be some days he reminds the teacher, which I don't see that happening that often, but I do see it happening just a little bit. But Jonathan, he will be all about business in school, pure, straight, unadulterated business. Everything else he will block out, shade out. It did not matter. Jonathan Joestar in school, because y'all have to remember too, in the show, I'm pretty sure he goes to college. He's what, 2-3 years in the university by the time the story actually kicks off. Jonathan is a very smart character. That's why I think in school he's literally just chilling, getting all his work done on time, ready, willing, ultra hyper vigilant, ready to learn. So I guess if you're talking about archetypes, it's probably closer to like a goody two shoes, but probably not on teacher's pet level. Close to it. Maybe younger Jonathan teacher's pet level, but like older, nah, I don't see teacher's pet in older Jonathan. I see him getting his work done and just fucking off, kind of, having friends, being popular, all that shit. Joseph Joestar. I think we all know what Joseph Joestar is. Class clown, hands down. Joseph Joestar, if you even watched part 2, he was the epitome of the joke. He's making the joke. He is the joke. And guess what? He's making ancient beings laugh. He's making ancient beings want to let him live for a month because they see his fight potential. I think in school, he really did not give a fuck about no school and was clowning the teachers in their classroom on some crazy shit. Something you could never even imagine. He's clowning these teachers just for teaching. Like, he'll probably be the one who's clowning the teacher, but he's also getting all of his answers right. Because you also have to remember, Joseph's one of the smartest Joestars. He probably is the smartest Joestar. He's definitely straight A student when he wants to be. When he does not want to do that work though, what can you say to Joseph? Hey, you 6'5" smart dickhead, do your work. The whole issue with Joseph and in the classroom is simply that he probably would not care enough about the schoolwork to do it. So that may affect his GPA slightly, but other than that, he's just really cruising, chilling, and being a class clown. He's probably one of the kids that's always sent to the principal's office for no reason, just because the teacher don't like him, even though almost everything he said was correct. Now, third, we have Jotaro Kujo. It's like the thing with Jotaro, teenage Jotaro. Also, I forgot to mention the first two, definitely playing sports, definitely breaking school records. Jotaro is too. I can see Jotaro doing that too. Because you have to think, right? Jotaro, the thing with him, at least what we saw in part 3, that Jotaro does what he wants at any point in time. So him doing what he wants, right? He's probably going to be like, if y'all ever watched Yu Yu Hakusho, it's probably going to be like a Yusuke archetype. Like, yeah, he's at school. Yeah, he's there. He's doing the work-ish. See, that's the difference between him and Yusuke. He will be doing the work. Jotaro's definitely doing his work. He was raised as a good boy. Definitely doing his work. But, like, as far as, like, actually being involved or active within the classroom, no. He'll probably do his work just so he doesn't have to go to that class. You know, but like he's somewhere secluded. We already saw he does not like interacting with the students there. He thinks all of them is annoying as shit. He's one of those guys where you see him in the hallway and he has people surrounding him, but he's not talking to them. He's actually trying to walk past them and they keep walking behind him. You know, he's like that guy you see in school that just looks like he's over everything and he wants to end it. But he doesn't. Then you catch him in the fucking park at 10:30 on a Tuesday and you're like, why are you at the park? And he's like, bitch, shut the fuck up. That's the type of archetype I could see Jotaro falling into. Yosuke. Now, one thing we know about Josuke that is confirmed, he loves side quests. Side quests are something he loves to do. And one thing his mom even said is that he always does them after school. Now, in school, right, Josuke is a special case because he has two archetypes. One is when he's with his friends, Okuyasu, Koichi. That is the class clown trio. Koichi's trying to do his work, but Okuyasu and Josuke are laughing up a fucking storm that entire class period. Ain't shit getting done if they're sitting near each other, and even if they ain't, they're probably telepathically telling jokes. And then the one when he's alone, I think it's a lot more chilled version, not necessarily of a class clown, but really just a chill version of Josuke. I feel like when he's alone by himself, he does a good portion of the work, mostly because his mom would beat him up if he didn't, because we saw what she did. I forget what he was doing, but he was at the TV playing the video game and his mom started fucking kicking him in the back. So I think he does his work, but it's a reluctance. He's like a BC student, not because he's not smart, but because he's probably thinking, what the fuck, why am I doing this? But I also feel like Josuke is he's one of the nicer Joestars, so I feel like he does have a really great degree of friends. He himself just doesn't necessarily think of them as big friends outside of school. That's probably a part of the reason why in part 4 you never see him hanging around anyone else except Okuyasu and Koichi. He knows them outside of school. He's actually done things with them outside of school, and plus they're crucial to the story. But if we saw Josuke with some random classmate and we started learning about them, then it would just be like, oh well, this guy isn't crucial to the story. It's actually collateral damage. So, but overall, I think he's like a somewhat popular balance with a decent in school actually mindset. Now, part 5, Giorno. Giorno is a lot similar to Jonathan in school, at least I believe. I believe that Giorno in school is probably very quiet, but he's smart enough and he's like gifted enough that he shows out just a little, but he only shows out a little just so he could have people around him that he could use in the event of he actually needs them. You know what I mean? Because when we do see Giorno, we see him in school for such a brief second. It's low-key hard to pinpoint what he would be doing, but just based off of his personality, yeah, I see him being popular, yes, because again, you gotta remember, this is part deal, being popular, but the people he has around him are mostly for potential manipulative use, not necessarily for people he wants to be around. Because in the show, one thing that is made kind of abundantly clear is that he kind of likes his personal space and alone time. This can be seen when, for one, he at the cafe and all the girls are flocked around him and he's like, hey, leave me the fuck alone, please. I pretty sure he said some line about him having a girlfriend, which that was never expanded on, but I mean, it'll make sense. Like him and Jotaro's archetype is very, very similar, except Giorno's not cursing you out. Jotaro is. But they're both around like the same like popular loner, except Jotaro, he's not trying to get cool with you just to use you. Giorno, he may get cool with you just to use you, but if you're annoying enough, he's just going to walk away. Jolene in school is a disruptive troublemaker. Now, the reason I say that is because you have to remember, she did not have her father in her life. Because she didn't have a father in her life, and she barely saw Jotaro, she then had just this freedom to do what she wants without having actual repercussions at home. You know what I mean? Because call her dad, that nigga in Japan, nigga, this is Florida in the 2000s. What are you gonna do? So in school, she's just doing whatever the hell she wants at leisure. You know what I mean? And you also gotta think about it, she's a Kujo, so her archetype is probably the closest to Jotaro, except the fact that she probably has a lot of friends. A lot of friends. Again, Jolene is very similar to Jotaro, but the difference is she's very outgoing. She's not as introverted as Jotaro. She probably has a very big amount of friends that just get up to no good. Think about it. She is a delinquent teenager. This is the same girl who got caught stealing a car in 06 when she was like, what, 14, 15? She was definitely out there smoking, drinking, partying, everything you could think under the sun Jolene was doing. I think even like when you even look at her later teenage years, that's where shit really got bad, because again, now not only is she just doing crazy shit, she probably has a group around her with her doing crazy shit that's been doing crazy shit for her for like 4 or 5 years. Y'all don't, she's definitely like a popular class clown-ish type girl. And then with her grades, I don't know how much faith I have in them grades. And that's not to say Jolene's not smart. Jolene is very smart. However, she is a delinquent. We're seeing C's, maybe even a little bit of D's, but mostly C's, some B's, and if we're lucky, good semester, maybe an A. Johnny Joestar in school. This is probably the easiest one. He was just a rich douchebag. That's it. Just a fucking douchebag. Unless we were talking about him being so young that you can't even really count it. Elementary, you can't count it for real. In school, rich douchebag. Simple. Popular rich douchebag. We literally see that in glimpses of when we got Johnny's backstory. This man was going on threesomes at like 17, 16. Because he was one of the most popular horse jockey racers in the country. Y'all don't think he was going crazy at his school? He was probably throwing 1800s ragers, telling his dad, "Oh no, that's the wrong property. That's not our property. Well, our property is here. That party's across town. knowing damn well he finna be at that party by tonight. Knowing damn fucking well. Like, if I'm being honest, you also have to remember his dad was always stricken by grief. So, like, I don't think he was a present parent to Johnny, especially youth Johnny. Johnny was probably getting away with whatever the fuck, and his dad could not even care a single morsel. Josuke 8 is nothing but pure confusion. Yeah, I think that just follows him everywhere. If Josuke 8 was, you know, well, if you haven't read Part 8, I can't really say much, but if you have, you know, that means he's a fusion. So I just think he would probably just be confused throughout school, mainly. The way y'all remember he was posing at the beginning, the fucking straight ass, standstill ass poses, I think he's still doing that. I do think, however, he would be decent in school. You know, he's not dumb. He is pretty smart. He would be pretty decent in school. And I also feel like he would have some friends. It would just be like, he would always be in like a confusion state. Like, who am I? Just, he's thinking about that in math class though. They're going over some shit for the test. He's like, why did I get here? And finally, our local drug dealer, Jodio. And Jodio Joestar is the high school drug dealer. Yeah. He's just doing what he already does in school in canon, which is sell drugs in various places within the school. Yeah, you know he's pushing that hard shit. He's not pushing. Yeah, he's pushing some, you know, but he's also pushing coke and not cola. M. But other than him being a drug dealer, I think he would probably be, for the most part, putting on a facade as a chill kid, doesn't do much, you know, gets his grades in. He's probably a straight A student, honestly, because he's putting up a facade so that in his spare time, what he's doing does not seem like something he would do ever, you know, because teachers probably ask about, or someone probably asked about him, teachers, they were like, oh, Jodio, oh yeah, he's such a great kid, knowing damn well Jodio be going to all the parties, going to all the ragers, be in fights, be doing all crazy shit. Because Jodio, the thing with him is, once he started touching money, we literally see it in the manga. I forget, it was like the first chapter where he says, you're like this, and I'm like this. And this thing is just posing around a bunch of people fucking dancing. You know he's at the parties. You know he's the life of the party. It's Jodio. I don't know. If you think Jodio is not out there at the parties going crazy, he's probably getting way more clients at the parties. But again, he's probably sober the whole entire time. Y'all know what they say. Don't get high on your own supply. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, we're on the road to 5K, so anything helps. And until next time, peace. In one of my videos, someone in the comments asked me what minimum wage job would each JoJo have, and I was very intrigued and enthralled by this question. So I thought to myself, what minimum wage job would they have? And I think the answers are pretty shocking. Now, I'm trying to be somewhat representative of the time period, but if I can't think of anything from that time period, I will just give them a minimum wage job of today. Now, with that being said, up first we have Jonathan. What minimum wage job would Jonathan Joestar, the prissy rich boy, have? I think it would be... I feel like Jonathan would be some type of civil servant. Something in, you know, volunteer work-ish. You know what I mean? Something that's not too crazy, but also on par with how good of a heart he has. I feel like he would probably be someone who's like volunteering at a soup kitchen. Someone who's not getting paid too much, but they're getting paid a little bit. Some meager degree, and probably because they don't want to live too far above their means. Y'all gotta remember, this is the kindest hearted Joestar we're talking about here, and in part 2, Joseph I think he is someone I think definitely has like he's a comedian, but he's one of the low level comedians that are also like panhandlers on the side at the same time. Like, don't get me wrong, he doesn't want to get a real job. He's not going to get a real job. He's going to make as much money as he can from comedy, and then he's going to ask you for money. Then if you don't got money, he'll probably do like, you know, like them side street attractions, you know. He can't play no I mean, I don't remember Joseph playing no instruments. I might be wrong. But as far as I remember, he can't play no instruments. So he's probably going to, you know, paint himself silver, stand there like a statue, get a little extra bucks. This is back in the, you know, old days. I'm pretty sure he could get away with that. He could get away with that. Or here's another good one. He might be like a side street psychic, you know, and he's just gonna use his your next line is ability to like make most of his money, just so like people would start believing he's psychic because he just told me what I was literally just about to say. He must be psychic. You know what I mean? But his main career would be comedy. But it's low level comedy. If you want to know how much like comedians make that are not mainstream, oh man, they make shit. It's like any entertainer that's not mainstream makes shit amount of money. Now for Jotaro, I'm low-key leaning towards like janitor. You know what I mean? Something like that. Gotta think about it. Overnight, Jotaro's a little introverted. He doesn't like annoying people. You know, probably just go do the janitor shit real quick. It's really, the real question is, what is he a janitor of? You know what I mean? If he's doing nighttime janitorial duties, do you think he would survive long enough in like a regular high school? Especially remembering the fact that he raised his family in the United States, in Florida. I don't know. Him being a regular janitor of a Florida high school does not sound liable. But him being a janitor of a Florida university sounds like something he would do. You got to think about it with me for a second. Even though they live on campus and he still would have to see some people, he's not seeing that many people. You know what I mean? He's like his vibes give me something like, if I'm working a regular job, I want to be out the way. I mean, in the show, he's a marine biologist. But if we were going off something like closer to like what he actually does, it would be like PetSmart. He work in PetSmart, Petco. But even then, it's like, I don't know. You know, I chose janitor because you got to think about it. He also wants to be out the way. What janitor? Do you ever see a janitor in their regular day-to-day life? You probably do, but you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know they were a janitor. Josuke 4. Man. Minimum wage job. Josuke 4 will work. See, I can't put him in any healthcare field because one, that's not minimum wage, and two, that's just too perfect. It's too spot on. You know what I mean? Healthcare is too spot on for Josuke Gaskata. We got to put him in some place where he would like low-key hate, but he will brighten up the place. Honestly, Josuke will work in fast food. Think about it. As someone who's like worked in some type of fast food, Josuke will be the perfect person there. Because he's probably not going to be good at his job. Fresh 16-year-old, and he's gonna make humor that all the other coworkers find fucking annoying. And he has anger issues. It's like a dream come true to put him right, stick him right in that fast food window. Yeah, no, we not one of the people passing out food. No, window. Put him in the window. The hellhole. I can just imagine in a bright and cheery, "Hey, what can I get you today?" Followed by a whole bunch of expletives. Not coming from Josuke, coming from the customer. "You fucked up my order, Josuke. That's your name, isn't it? With your stupid hair." Now, Josuke's out of a job. Moving on. Giorno. He's definitely, I don't know. Giorno's a little special case. He's so specialized in his skills. I feel like I don't know what minimum wage job he would perfectly work. Matter of fact, Giorno for nursing assistant. Now, I know what I just said about Josuke. But I was looking up entry level jobs and minimum wage jobs. I saw nursing assistant. Giorno would crush being a nursing assistant. You know, even though he would be a very, very blunt one, and patients might not like him that much. Because again, if you don't remember part 5, Giorno was so incredibly blunt. I was like, whoa, why is he just speaking like this? But I feel like he would be perfect for that. I mean, like, his stand, it brings life. He helps, you know, he can heal you, at least. Either that or like something like a gardener. You know, I could see Giorno being a nice gardener. But like on the low, he's one of the people who give like informant tips to the FBI about illegal operations in his community. So it's still Giorno. At number 6, Jolene, retail store worker, retail store manager. Yeah. Jolene stocking and sweeping and cleaning all up and down Walmart, every aisle. And if she's not, matter of fact, she's the chill retail manager. You know, she's the one who lets you get away with anything. But even still, she still gets on your ass because she might lose her job. Even though for Jolene, I kind of feel like she would be a retail manager, but like at like 5 retail stores, because she keeps quitting her job and jumping from store to store. I knew people in real life like that, and they would just go from job to job to job. And I would just think like, I don't blame you in most cases. I really don't. But I do feel like Jolene be job hopping like a motherfucker. But yeah, she's the one who doesn't take shit too seriously unless the regional, you know, manager walks in. Then she's on everyone's ass acting like she be doing this all the time just so she doesn't lose her job. You know, but she's the one, you know, you say you want to go on break for a quick 30, she'll let you get 30 in. Even though you're only supposed to get 15, she'll let you get a 30 in. She don't care about these fucking customers or shit. She just knows that they'll be alright waiting a little extra 5, extra 10. What minimum wage job would Johnny Joestar work? Ooh, this is tough. This is a man who's dedicated his entire life to horses and horseback racing. Damn. This is hard. This is like where shit gets really tough. I know what Jodio's gonna work. Jodio's the only one, but Johnny and Josuke 8 is where it gets hard. It's hard thinking about where they're gonna work. I could see Johnny being a ramp worker at the airport. You know, we're going a little bit just a little bit modern on this. The ramp worker at the airport. He's one of the guys who just come on, bring the plane back. You know, he is one of these. And just you know, with the light sticks and shit. I think he's one of them. You know, and you may ask me, well, why that of everything? I don't know. I feel like after, you know, he got his disability, he would just, you know, look like when he isn't as depressed, he would just look for jobs that are like somewhat easier, you know what I mean? And from what I've heard, at least from the people I know that actually work in that industry, it's pretty easy being the ramp guy and shit, you know. You may have to get on the plane a little bit, get off the plane a little bit, you know. But there's ramps, there's accessibility ramps. He should be good. Josuke 8. Ooh, this is another tough one. Josuke 8 is a door dasher. Yeah. He's a door dasher. He just feels like one of those guys who would just never have one of the like traditional quote unquote jobs, and he would just pick something that doesn't require too much time, space, or even a blocked out schedule, so that he can be free to do whatever he wants for the rest of the day, and try to get extra money that way. He definitely, cause like when I was thinking about it, I'm just like, I just can't imagine Josuke 8 working in any field. He's always just trying to be free and go places. But then I have to think, who else is always trying to go places? Door dashers. They're always driving places, get your food, or you might be an Uber, get your food, pick people up and shit. Make their quick little money, whatever money they do make. Even though I've heard they don't get paid that much, which would make sense. I think he would vibe with that. And on top of that, I gotta remember, he's a part of a rich family. He doesn't need to do that. He wants to. Like they would be the Gasketas, they would be so down to fund all their kids. They'd be so ready to fund their kids' lifestyles and shit. To end it off, Jodio Joestar, what minimum wage job would Jodio Joestar have? House sitting. He would be the best house sitter on the block, and you wouldn't even know you're getting robbed. You wouldn't even notice your favorite shit is missing, because you're going to come back, everything's going to look so spotless, everything's going to look like it's just straight in the right place. The next thing you know, Jodio stole your diamond watch. He stole your gold necklace. He stole that expensive piece of clothing you got from some random designer store from Paris. Gone. And you know what the value of that is? 5,000. But in all seriousness, yes, I think Jodio's going to be like a housekeeper, but he's just going to be like casing the fuck out your house. Your house is going to get cased to no end, no oblivion. And most likely, you're not even going to know it. You're not even going to fucking know it. He's going to case the shit out your house. If he sees some shit he likes, though, best believe him and the whole team run up in your house. Don't let you be rich either. Oh, don't let you be rich. Don't let him find a safe. These are all real concerns you should have if you want to hire this man, because he was a fucking menace. Jodio Joestar so far has been just a fucking beast. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to 5K, so anything helps. I've been trying to make longer videos, so let me know if you like them, and until next time, peace.